youtube.com/MayhewMayhem. That's youtube.com/MayhewMayhem.
Hello and welcome to another episode of 30 Minutes of Mayhem. I am your host. My name is Michael Mayhew, and I am here with my co-hosts.
Ryan Gatt, and I'm here with... What's up, everybody? It's me, Greg.
And for a second week in a row, we are joined by Adam and our female guest. Let's pick up the conversation where we left off at the end of episode 16. Is it ever okay for a man to hit a woman?
All right, we're talking about a woman coming after you with an object, say a knife, this or that. What if a girl hits you? Now, does that mean that you can hit her back?
No.
Would you hit her back?
No.
Exactly.
No.
No, I wouldn't hit her back. Yeah, right.
No, if she's going for your throat or something, and if she's going to try to cause serious physical, yeah, possibly in self-defense, hit her arm to make it numb or something, like to counter the threat, but not go all out and just like start swinging for the fences. No.
If a bitch coming at me with her fist, no object, I'm gonna then go to the restrainer thing. I'm gonna wait for her to throw a punch or something, grab her fucking wrist, and restrain her.
Hold her.
Yeah, restrain her.
Yeah, but
Drop
that's what I'm
fist
saying
down.
is you wouldn't go all out. Oh, she's throwing a fist at me, so I'm gonna go for her throat or something and
Yeah,
Or-
I'm gonna wing this
For jugular.
skull. Yeah, but no,
gouge your eyes out or something. Like
Okay.
you wouldn't go that far. You would just do what the situation,
called for.
the minimum of what the situation called for.
I agree with that. And now to go back to your scenario, if I miss with that sugar, I'm gonna grab another object. But say I miss twice or whatever. If I don't have enough time the second time, and I cannot escape, my next reaction is not going to be to punch her. My legs are longer than what my arms are, and she's not going to really expect me to kick her. So I would go straight for like a gut. I would kick as hard as I possibly can in like a front kick forward motion to make her to move her away as hard as I possibly can. Because if she's coming at you, she's not going to be coming at your lower extremities, of course, unless she's trying to cut your Johnson off. She's not going to
Or
be
she
going
hits you
for
in the femoral artery.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, the point being, like, chances are she's going to be trying to kill you if she's coming at you with a knife. She's not going to expect you to kick her. If I cannot prevent her from getting too close to me and she gets too close to me, my next reaction would be to kick because I know my legs are longer than my arms. If that doesn't do good enough, and then it's all out at that point. It's life or death at that point.
Well, you said with the like, and you throw it at her. Well, what are the possible things that could happen throwing the jar at her? Like, say you throw the jar at her head. It's like you could well, the best case scenario. Well, I don't know the best case, but
The best
least
case
damage
scenario
is-
she drops
What's
the
that?
knife. The best case scenario is that it hits her to the point to where it causes her to drop the knife, and then from there you restrain her.
let's like medically or like physically in terms of harm, like that she would just get like ow, and she just like. But the worst case scenario is you could actually possibly kill her.
Life or death, though. If she's trying to kill you and it's you or her, and that just happens to be
Fight or
the
flight.
What if she snaps and can't control her actions? What if she just snaps and becomes like, let's say she has a psychotic break and she's not legally capable of her own actions. So why go for something like a jar or something that is risky, has a whole bunch more consequences? Why not grab something like a chair, like a kitchen chair, and use
Well,
it to defend yourself? Like
If I was closer, whatever I'm saying is whatever I was closest to is what I would grab. If I was close to a kitchen chair, you're damn right. I'd tame her ass like a lion. I would stick that chair. I would pick up that chair and stick it between her and I would defend her.
As I'm doing that, I'm on the fucking phone with the cops. Tell them fuck there.
Yeah. But, you know, like, if I'm not close enough to the chair and the closest thing I can do is wing an object at her, that's what I'm going to do. It's all the environment. It depends on what I'm closest
But
to.
if you could get, my thing is if I have an exit to get out and I'm not cornered,
Yeah, that's my
I'm
initial
leaving
thing is.
that room.
Yeah, that's what
I'm
my
getting out
initial
of there.
thing was. We were saying in the scenario that wasn't possible. You getting out of the room wasn't possible. What's the next course of action?
Well, there are so many things in like so many things that could possibly be used as a weapon that as a way of self-defense. But what I'm saying is take a chair or maybe like a drawer. Take a drawer out. That's a nice shield, like a kitchen drawer, like cutlery or whatever. Well, if you take like a drawer out or rip a door off of a cabinet, that's a nice shield. It's like what I'm saying is you shouldn't go to a risky or extreme measure that could possibly cause like extreme physical harm when just self-defense, when the minimum can be done.
I completely get what you're saying and I agree, but I'm just like that is so situational. It depends on what I'm closest to. You know, like say I'm getting a cup out of the the cabinet. I'm getting a cup out of the cabinet, and bitch is coming at me. I might try to remove said cabinet door because I already got it open. It's the closest thing to me. I might wing a cup at her head. It just depends. Like if I'm touching the cup and all of a sudden bitch is coming at me with a knife, there's no way for me to escape. Cup I'm holding, she might take a glass upside the skull.
To get a little, I'm gonna bring a little bit of political stuff in here now, because I can. To say that you wouldn't hit a woman because she's a woman is a little sexist. You think about it.
Yeah, it is, but I agree with that. But it's all about how you're raised.
Pretty much.
That's the whole point. If you are raised that women are equal to you, or if you were primarily raised by your mother versus your father, you're gonna possibly
be more okay with hitting a woman, or at least like having a physical altercation, not exactly just hitting.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you are raised that women and men are equal, then I think you're less likely to hit a woman because we're equal. But if you are raised women are inferior to men, you're like they're less than you, so you're more okay with splitting their skull open if you have to.
Well, that's two different ideas about hitting a woman. You hit a woman because she's inferior, or because she is like just attacking you. Like you're getting an argument with her and you can hit her. Like say if you get an argument with a guy and it gets really heated and you start just hitting each other. That's different than just like I'm a guy, I'm superior to women, so I can use them as my punching bag.
That's completely different topic, I guess, really. Well, that's breaking it down even farther. And this next segment we like to call Ryan from the headlines.
Man tries to take photo of beaver and it kills him. A fisherman was bitten to death by a beaver, and all he was trying to do was to take a picture. Sky News reports a man spotted the beaver while fishing with friends at Lake Shikaskawal, but when he approached to take the photography, the beaver bit him on the thigh. The animal managed to sever an artery, and the friends could not stop the blood flow.
That's just let's just get to the point here. That is one of the shittiest ways in the entire fucking world to die.
I know. I was getting stung by a stingray.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
That artery is the femoral artery, by the way, if you guys were curious.
Yeah, the main artery in the leg there, and they couldn't stop the bleeding. But like, if I was killed by a beaver, I wouldn't want a funeral or service at all. I would just want like a small group of people to know how I died, and then everybody else would be like, he was something stupid. You know, Mike. You know how he was. You know, he was killed doing something stupid. I would never want it to get out that I was killed by a beaver.
I don't think anybody would.
And a good thing the headline doesn't read "Beaver kills man," because then it would be like a misconception.
People would think that a woman's beaver killed a man?
Exactly. Was he down there and like, he had like a beard or a mustache? Let's just say a mustache. So he has like a gnarly like 70s like Ron Jeremy mustache, right? And then his hair gets entangled and the beaver hair, and then he suffocates. I'm just saying, getting killed by a beaver.
There are some beavers that I'd like to sink my teeth into, but I can't say I'd prefer the other way around.
Sky News helpfully reminds us that beavers can, of course, bite through trees. Beaver attacks are rare, though, and when they do occur, beavers are generally to blame. A video was posted on YouTube showing a beaver going after a Russian man, and 2 girls were seriously injured after being mauled by a beaver in Virginia's...
I'm just saying, if a beaver comes at you, it's not that big. My first reaction would be to punt it. You know what
But then it latches into your leg, and that's what happens, Mike.
Well, maybe that's how he went out. But if a small little dog come at you with every intention in the world on attacking you, and you knew it was going to attack you, you would kick it. I'm sure you're not going to run from a small dog. Some might run from the small dog, but like fight or flight comes in. And if it's so much smaller than me, I think I honestly 100% believe, I can't say with certainty, but I'm going to say 100% anyway, that I would. But if it was a bear, I'm going to run like hell. Why didn't the guy like punt the beaver? Why didn't he defend himself?
I don't know. It depends on how big the beaver was.
It's still a fucking beaver.
Well, you probably
He was probably drunk.
Yeah.
He was probably drinking. He was on a fishing trip.
Very true.
Similar news the AFP reports that a Komodo sunk its teeth into an 80-year-old Indonesian woman on Tuesday, but she was able to fend it off.
Okay, how the fuck does someone fend off a fucking Komodo dragon and get killed by a beaver? That don't even make any goddamn sense.
How old was the person?
The lady was 83 years old.
She was fucking 83 years old, and to finish off the Komodo dragon.
What the fuck?
I don't
You
give a
can't make the. It's.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if that guy was drunk. He's a pussy now, and not in the definition of beaver either. He's what? An 83-year-old woman kicked a fucking Komodo dragon's ass apparently, but this dude goes out by getting bit by a beaver.
I could just picture her beating it with her cane.
I find it hilarious simply because, that is like one of the most unfortunate ways to go. That's like so yeah, this is the kind of thing I
What's
expect
next? A
to
parakeet's
see.
gonna maul someone to death?
The kind of thing I'm expecting to see on an episode of 1,000 Ways to Die in the future. It's so ridiculously far-fetched. I mean, when you beaver, you think of this like adorable little brown animal that chews wood and makes beaver dams, and that's about it. And like the thought of one of those mauling someone to death is not the kind of thing you think of. So when you hear someone got mauled to death by a beaver, your first reaction is, what, in a movie or something? What movie was that? And they're like, no, in real life. And it sounds so utterly retarded that someone could get killed by a beaver, but here it is. A guy got mauled to death by a fucking beaver.
I don't know why you would try to get that close to a fucking beaver anyway. If you're gonna take that risk, I mean, you're a fucking dumbass.
See the beaver coming after you. You're running. You run away from the goddamn.
You're not gonna sit there and take pictures while it's fucking coming after you. Like, oh look, it's getting closer. Oh look. Oh, you know what? I'm bleeding out now. There's me right.
Not to get off subject or anything, but me and my uncle came across the badger, and that son of a bitch chased after us and ran us all the way back to the truck.
Oh yeah, badgers are scary sons of bitches.
Back
Damn.
to the truck.
That some bitch done there sent me back that truck.
I was gonna shoot that son of a bitch, but then my uncle's like, no, don't kill it. It's all good.
I was gonna shoot that some bitch that come there coming after me.
Get that there bullet right in the eyes.
Badger meat.
I was gonna make some goddamn badger jerky.
Badger burger would have been awesome had you said that. That some bitch come right at me. I'm gonna shoot that some bitch right there between there. That's some good meat. That badger meat there. Have make us up some badger burger. We ain't gonna starve tonight.
Make a burger with some bacon on it.
Gotta put that thing in a pie.
What we eating? Badger pie.
She's just losing it.
I don't want to get like I don't know, cultural or whatnot, but like we have this idea, and a lot of people have this idea that animals like that are cute little cuddly animals. They're not gonna attack you. They're like from like TV and stuff.
Mhm.
Nobody really gets attacked by a beaver. Like no one who thinks that, hey, this is a wild animal. It's wild. It's dangerous. Like you shouldn't just go up to a wild animal and be like, hey, I'll take a picture of it, and then think nothing's gonna happen.
Our next topic, one of the hottest topics right now, and I think it'll be a hot topic for a very long time because it's continuing to gain more and more and more ground, and that is gay marriage. So I want everyone's perspective. Should a man be able to marry another man? Should a woman be able to marry another woman? Should gay marriage be completely legalized and recognized by the government in whole?
I think so. And the reason why I think so is, for one thing, you gotta look at it as separation of church and state, okay? The church should be able to, if the church wants to marry, it should be the church's decision to be able to do that. Also, I believe that there's a lot of people out there that are born with either too much testosterone, as in women having too much testosterone, or men having too much
Estrogen.
of estrogen that make them either feminine or make them male.
Masculine.
And also makes their brain think that it's okay to be, to be that way. I think that a lot of people that are born out there that just are that way.
Okay,
And
let me jump in here real quick. I'm not trying to interrupt your point, but I really don't want to go into why people are homosexual. Or,
oh yeah.
I don't really want to go too much into that because that may get too controversial between all of us, and I don't want anyone to legitimately start fighting about that. So let's just bring it back.
That makes good television, Mike.
I know, but it to an extent.
This ain't no Jerry Springer show.
But
It could be who's got a chair.
somebody throw a chair. Anyways, go ahead, Ryan.
But no, and then I just believe that they should have the right to, and people should have the right to do whatever they want. I mean, who are we to tell them what they can and cannot do? I mean, honestly, it's their life. They should be able to do what they want to do. They should be able to get married legally. Love each other. They love each other. It doesn't matter if they're man, woman, cat, whatever. Don't matter to me.
I don't know if a person should be able to marry an animal. That may be a little too much.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say on it. Crystal, what do you got?
Okay, I definitely believe.
I was hoping you wouldn't pick her because she's gonna have a long. And go ahead. She's gonna have a long one.
No, I won't, because they should get married. Why shouldn't they? They deserve to be happy too. And wow, I just pissed myself off because I said they, as if they're not people. But my best friend is gay, and there's nothing wrong with two of the same sex being together. And as far as I'm concerned, what is one of the commandments? Is that what it's called? Like, honor, whatever, something. Treat others the way that you want to be treated, but not that.
That's the golden rule. That's not really in the Ten Commandments.
No, I'd have to go fucking pull out my CCD book. But anyway,
Let's not bust out the Catholicism.
You can't sit there and say, like, you specifically can't do that because it's Bible. Because no, it's not. And that's all it is fucking religious, holy rolling people.
But what throws the whole Bible thing out of the whole ordeal is people are born this way. They are actually proving that there's people that come out that have either too high testosterone or too high.
Ryan's going back to what I asked him to avoid.
That's a different.
Yeah, that's like a whole different, like, what we're talking about. I just want to primarily focus on the marriage aspect of it. But go ahead, Crystal.
Well, I was gonna branch off of what Ryan was saying, actually.
Please don't, unless it's relative to the marriage.
No.
Because you and I have, I'm just going to explain why I don't want to get onto that, because Crystal and I have very different viewpoints on this.
Very.
And she will not even begin to start to listen to mine, and that angers me because I partially agree with her, but I don't think that she's completely correct. So we fight about it. So this is a topic that we avoid so that we don't get into a fight.
Just to break the tension, I just want everyone to know that my beard is extremely itchy, and I'm going to scratch it right now.
Adam, what do you think?
Alrighty, gay people should be able to get married, but as from like a religious standpoint, I can understand why a lot of religious people do think that gay marriage is wrong, morally wrong, because there's that one passage in the Bible that says something like, "Thou shalt not lay with another man as a man should not lay with another man as a man lays with a woman," or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's detestable and punishable by death, blah blah blah. Well, it's like, well, if you take a look at what those commandments, those laws and stuff are written because of a cultural reason. It's not just some guy just came up with it because God said so. That could possibly happen, but like with the meat issue, like the pork and stuff, how it's unclean. I was like, why was it unclean? It's because back in those days, there was a disease, there's a virus going around in all those kinds of animals, and if you ate it, you died. So that became part of the culture. It's a law that they put into the Torah. I'm talking about the Hebrews right now. And like the a man shouldn't lay with another man. Well, think about it. If a man lays with another man, but there's no children, then your population gets smaller. There's a lot less chance of your population getting bigger, and it stops your culture from growing.
There's plenty of gay couples right now that would love to adopt children and give children a good home.
But yeah, currently, yes. But back then, he's just talking about the history.
Yeah, I'm talking about history, but nowadays that's completely pointless because of orphanages, sperm banks, and stuff like that. People adopting, it's like, so that's completely pointless now. And so if they're able to like carry on the culture and the society, whatnot, with their own children, then that rule kind of loses its power, its importance. It just becomes obsolete.
You're more or less suggesting that it's an outdated
Yeah, pretty much. Like the whole women can't wear pants thing. That's kind of pointless in today's society.
Interesting thing about women's clothing. Did you know, like, say on like a hoodie, for instance, or like a zip-up hoodie, that the woman's zipper is on the opposite side from what the male's
Yeah.
is, Did
Oh,
you-
look at the
And
buttons
the
and stuff.
buttons.
and the buttons and
Yep.
everything are on the opposite side. Do you know why that is? But no, Adam, I know you probably know why. Does anybody else know why that is?
No, I don't. I never knew.
It's because women didn't dress themselves; they were dressed by another person, and their buttons are on the side so that it would be on that other person's right side.
Ah.
History lesson for the day. Adam,
Hey,
did you know that?
they always say you learn
Yeah, I knew
something
that.
new every day.
I figured you knew it. That's why I prevented you from answering because I wanted to sound smart. But anyways, go on, Adam.
Well, that's my point. Is that things that were important back in the day are just nowadays it's just blind tradition that because like the only thing that really our country was founded on Christian principles, but the real moral foundation of our country is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I'm all about free will and whatnot, and people being able to make their own destiny, make their own lives. The way they live their lives is completely their own. And so it's kind of against what I believe to like force another person to force your beliefs onto someone else because they're in the moral high ground.
No, I get.
Oh my.
Why should we? Gay people are already alive. We already got them life. Not allowing them to marry is depriving them of some liberty, of freedom to marry, as well as the pursuit of happiness to live out your life with someone you love.
That they're entitled to via the Bill of Rights.
That's in the Declaration.
The Declaration. Okay, sorry, my bad. They're entitled to it through that, which are or what? Their natural rights.
Natural rights endowed by the Creator.
Yeah,
Inalienable rights, I mean.
yeah. So, I mean, you're denying them rights that everyone else has.
Yeah.
I get what you're getting at.
Go with Greg.
Well, just about everybody has pointed out what I was gonna say. I agree. I wasn't always like, to be honest, like I'm just gonna say this right now. Actually, to be perfectly honest, I didn't really know too much about reality growing up, and that was like one of those things that I was sort of like sheltered from, that like I never really knew about. Like I actually didn't really like find out about it until I was like around like 13 or something like that. And for like a brief period of time from when I was like, and even after I found out about it, I was mostly indifferent to it, but for a very brief while later on, I became really, really homophobic, and like, and then I remember
You were
seeing
raised
the movie.
Catholic, correct?
Yeah, so that kind of makes sense. But what happened was, what made me change that was one day when I was going to school at Big Red for health class, because we got to like we were talking about like diseases and that, and one was AIDS. My teacher brought in the movie Philadelphia with Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
And after I saw that movie, like I completely like realized, oh my, I'm being a complete dick bag right now. So like I like completely changed my mind. And then like the thing is that I think it should be allowed, because I mean a lot of the people who think it shouldn't are doing it from a religious standpoint. And well, the thing is that they think it's a choice, but there's so much scientific evidence right now that is showing that it's not. Like, and I mean, even if there wasn't, that I mean, just thinking about it for more than 5 seconds, it doesn't make sense that it would be a choice. That would be like a guy one morning and saying, well, you know what? I've been attracted to blondes all my life, but I think from now on I've decided I'm gonna be attracted to brunettes. Like it doesn't like make sense. I mean, you are attracted to what you're attracted to. I mean, that's just genetic or whatever, and it's like, I mean, it there's so much about it that it's really hard to like understand. But I've just come to accept the fact that there are gay people, and love each other. They should be allowed to get married. So I mean, that's just my opinion on it.
Okay, for Adam is a psychology major that he will be very soon graduating with his bachelor's in psychology. Good thing Larry's not on here tonight, because Larry thinks that psychologists are fake doctors, but that's a whole different thing. So Adam, I could hear an overwhelming amount of disagreement in part of what he was saying. So jump in there and comment on that before I give my opinion.
Well, it's about what makes people gay, and it's more than just their genes. It's tons of stuff, but yeah, it's.
I thought we weren't even going here.
I know,
thought
that's why I didn't really want to say anything,
Okay,
but
well,
Mike brought it up.
I was just saying you were disagreeing with him. I didn't know that's
Yeah.
the way you were going to take it, though. But let me get in my opinion here, and I like that Greg actually touched a little bit on what I wanted to talk about. Greg talked about how he used to be like longer homophobic. If you go back 10 years, I'm 25 years old now. If you go back 10 years, for me, put me about 14, 15 years old. I wouldn't say I was homophobic, but I just hated them. And yes, I use the word them. I'm talking about the past here. I hated them because it was disgusting and gross, and that's just fucking wrong. Like, who would, that's just, because because I'm like, the female body is so fucking perfect. How could any man want to touch another man when the female body's? And then when I start thinking about females touching females, I'm like, I mean, I understand the female body's amazing, but I mean, that's not right. That's not how you're supposed to do things here. I'm striking out over here, and you're touching another woman. What the fuck's wrong with you? And then when I started growing up and maturing, I'm like, I really legitimately don't have any legitimate reasoning. That doesn't make any sense. Like, none of my reasoning makes sense. And if you know anything about me on a personal level, my brain works with more or less everything has to have a reason. That's just how my brain works, which is very irritating sometimes.
it is.
But I do believe that everything has a reason. Everything does have a reason. Whether we can figure out what the reason is or not, everything does have a reason. Anyways, that's an entirely different topic. But I'm like, the reason that is going on in my mind is of why I am hating makes no sense. And now I'm to the point to where it's like, that's not my thing. That's not me. I don't care what you do, and you shouldn't give a shit what I do. And if you bring this into religion now, Crystal does not believe she is straight atheist. I am not. She doesn't judge me on my views, and I don't judge her on hers. I never try to force mine on her, and she never tries to force hers on mine, because what she believes is what she believes, and what I believe is what I believe, and we don't give a shit. You know what I mean? So I take that same approach to people's sexuality now. It's like, whatever you want to do, that's cool, because it doesn't affect my life. So why should I tell you what you can and can't do? It doesn't affect me. If two men marry each other, that does not affect my life. It does not matter to me if two men marry each other. If two women marry each other, that does not affect my life. So why should I take time giving a shit? And I think the biggest reason why we're having a problem with getting it legalized, which is even stupid to be even saying that, religion is the biggest factor here. And Adam really pounded that out. No pun intended. So I didn't think I really need to get into that aspect of it. Here's another reason why I think that it should be allowed. Homosexuals, or gay people, whichever way you would like me to put it, gay people's money spends exactly the same as straight people's money. There is no gay money, there is no straight money. You have to pay a lot of money to get married, you have to pay a lot more money to get divorced. The government's going to get their cut of that piece of paper that says these two people are now married. They're going to get their cut on that, regardless of whether the couple's straight or gay.
I have a really stupid question.
I'm sure.
Well, it's not stupid. I just hey. But I just don't, like a male and a female, and they're living together, and after they live together for so many years, they're seen as married. What's that called?
Common law, I think it is.
Yeah, it's
common law.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say there was two men living together for X amount of years. That common law doesn't exist with them.
No.
No, it's called a fraternity. That was a stupid joke.
And hang on, wait. So if two females live together for 7 years, it's called a sorority? Is that where you were going?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's so funny. I was saying your joke was awful.
Yeah, I know.
So they don't even exist on a technicality to the government anyway.
Inside of that law, no. And I do think that our generation will legalize gay marriage if it's not done before our generation takes control of the government.
That about does it for another episode of 30 Minutes of Mayhem. I have been your host. My name is Michael Mayhew, and I have been here with my co-hosts,
Ryan Gatt and also
Greg.
We can talk about Nick.
And I'd like to thank our guests for being on a second week in a row. And remember, you can donate to the show via PayPal. The email address to use is in the description of this video on YouTube. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. Later, fellas.